one and all. My name is Jason Davis, and this is Empower Volusia Common Sense. And we're coming to you from an undisclosed location hidden in the highlands of West Volusia County, Florida, in an iron bunker, and we're guarded by 2 rabid Pomeranians and 1 crazy cat. And you can hear us on Facebook, on iTunes, on Twitter, on YouTube. We're all over, and you can also hear us on jasondavispodcast.com. And you can also email me a line, and you can send it to jasondavispodcast@gmail.com. So we got all kinds of Jason Davis podcast stuff going on all over the place. It's great. We've been having a lot of fun doing this stuff and basically bringing to you the truth, no matter what it may be, but we're going to bring it to you. And you know what? Now it's been about a week, a couple of days or so since the bombshell of the world now infamous Ukraine phone call from the President of the United States. It's actually been a couple of months since he made the call in July. And you know, last Friday was September 27th, and today is the September 30th. So here we go. 3 days ago, Mr. Rush Limbaugh he made a very interesting point. And I was listening to him on the internet at rushlimbaugh.com. And the point was that the Democrats have failed. What? Yes, they failed to instill fear in the Republican support for Donald Trump. They've energized his base, actually. They failed to have everybody run from the President of the United States and his support. They have failed by just uttering the word impeachment and starting the inquiry against the United States President. The question, of course, that Mr. Limbaugh has brought up is, why did they fail? Why has everybody failed to get Donald Trump and his support to run to the hills? Well, why does he still have support? Well, and why does he still rise in the polls? Why did he not cower and run away from the office like Nixon, who said, "I've had enough, and I'm not a crook, and I'm going to leave," and he left before he got impeached? And why doesn't he let the vice president take over? Those are some very good questions there, you know. He didn't ask all of them, but these are some of my questions thrown in here, too. But the question I really have for you, the American citizen, the intellectuals of this nation, those who have been keeping up with the current events, and those of us who pay the salaries of those who, quote-unquote, represent us. A better question instead of all of those is, when did you learn to read? Yeah, when did you learn to read? Because apparently in 2008, nobody knew how to read, because the worst president in the history of our country, Mr. Barack Obama, he was elected.
You can't handle the truth!
Yes, I said it. He was elected, even though all the information was out there for you to read about his religion, about his questionable heritage, where was he born, about his inability to actually do a job as a senator without being coached by his future vice president. We got that on tape, you know, where Mr. Biden was just constantly in the ear of Mr. Obama to find out what he was doing more than, and then we find out he's nothing more than a community organizer, which is somebody walks around and says, "Hey, everybody join on board. You know, we're doing this and this and this. Come on. All that information was out there. Yet, you elected Barack Hussein Obama. And I found out today on the internet that people just liked him because he was black. That's not a good reason to elect anybody. The color of their skin, that's kind of reverse discrimination, isn't it? I, for one, was reading all of this questionable information. Every bit of it. And I was comprehending all the information and storing it in my poor little pea brain. Yes, I certainly was.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
I did not. I would not. I could not vote for Barack Obama. Wouldn't do it. Not for the fact that he was a Democrat, and I was not. No, because of all the gray history of this man in his past life. But I'm not here to talk about the past. Well, at least not the past of 10 years ago. No, I'm here to talk about 4 years ago. Since day one, after the election of President Donald J. Trump, the Democrats started to spout the word impeach. They tried everything in their quiver of dirty tricks to have this duly elected president removed from office, and you know what? They actually failed on that so far.
Promises stupid as a stupid does.
They tried a phony dossier created to paint a bad picture about Mr. Trump, quoting Russian collusion. And during the entire process, they said, we will find something in there to impeach the president. And they failed. They went down the obstruction of justice road. He obstructed them from doing their investigation. This is a crime, and lo and behold, they failed. Yet their savior, Mr. Bob Mueller, failed them, and he did not get to the convictions or even the recommendation for charges against the president for impeachment. Once again, they failed. They have even tried to implicate him in tax fraud, inappropriate behavior, campaign violations, and everything, it seems, under the sun to try to impeach the President of the United States. And they have failed. So now the latest coup attempt to oust the duly elected President of the United States is once again upon us. This time it's in the form of a whistleblower report. Now, the Constitution says that it has to be high crimes and misdemeanors, which is actually anything. And here's the caveat, folks. A high crime or misdemeanors. Misdemeanors are pretty much set in stone. We know what those are. But high crimes, that's anything the House of Representatives decides it is. That's it. They can say tying your shoes out of order is a high crime. And by the way, if you haven't seen the whistleblower report, it was dated on the 12th of August, 2019, and sent to Mr. Schiff on the House of Representatives Intelligence Committee. It's right there in the heading. There's something up there, folks, that August 12th, and within a few days of that, Adam Schiff had a copy of the whistleblower report. And very soon after that, the lamestream media is reporting it. Interesting. Can we say leaker? Leaky Schiff. That's where we'll go. How do I know this? Because it's listed right on top of the report and who it was sent to and when it was sent. Yep, Mr. Schiff grilled the Director of National Intelligence, the DNI, about why he didn't get this report to him in a timely manner, and it took so long. And the answer to that question is this. He already had the report, folks. Why are you blowing more smoke up everybody's fourth point of contact? That, my dear friends, is an airborne statement. And the fourth point of contact, well, my military friends will understand. He had this report. And if you read this report, it's very damning. And this was one of the most ironclad documents to impeach a president of the United States. They had it. The smoking gun, the true reason to remove Donald J. Trump from office. Yay! Well, then they were raising a fuss to get the documentation, the transcript of the phone call in their hands, so they could once again, on the umpteenth time, start screaming their war cry of impeach, impeach, impeach. Yay!
Let's get ready to rumble!
But the sad truth is, folks, when they got the transcript of the actual phone call, written by the Intelligence Division, there's nothing in there to impeach. There is no collusion. There is no quid pro quo. There is nothing there impeachable for the President of the United States. Nothing. As a matter of fact, Barack Obama did a whole bunch worse. The biggest thing on that report is, could you do me a favor and look into this CrowdStrike company that actually did the collusion in our 2016 election? Oh, how dare you look into collusion? How dare you look into trying to secure our elections? Because the collusion was between the Democrat National Committee, Hillary Clinton, and the Ukraine CrowdStrike Corporation, LLC. Then after that, he asked if he could look into that removed prosecutor who was looking into a fuel oil natural gas company in the Ukraine about corruption. This is linked to Joe Biden and his son Hunter. This is in light of the new infamous video of Joe Biden bragging about how he held back $1.6 billion from the Ukraine for help with their fight against the Russian dominance unless they fired that prosecutor. Those are facts, folks. That's the truth. Like it or not, that's the way it worked. So once again, the Democrats are running and screaming, impeach, impeach, impeach. And they may very well get the articles of impeachment before the House and get them passed. It's very possible, almost probable. But wait. There's more. For you see, this is politics. There's always more.
Go ahead. Make my day.
In our Constitution, it takes the House of Representatives may charge a president with high crimes and or misdemeanors, and if the House of Representatives does such a thing, no matter how wrong they are or how incorrect their facts are, or if they lie like Mr. Shifty Shift has, it is then sent to the United States Senate. The United States Senate then does what is called an impeachment trial, and this is where the demographics of the House of Representatives and the Senate's are in play. The House of Representatives are dominated by Democrats. I'm giving you a little history here, folks, and a little facts. They are the majority of the political party of the House of Representatives. The United States Senate, on the other hand, is dominated by the Republican Party. And there are, of course, an even number of United States senators. Let's just say that they put it on the floor for a vote in the United States Senate. Oh, no. There must be a 2/3 vote to convict, no less. So out of 100 senators, they would need 66 to vote to convict. Not very likely. So if they do articles of impeachment, signed, sealed, delivered, and issued out, they will send it to the Senate for a full hearing and investigation. The odds are that the Senate will not convict the President of the United States on impeachment charges because there is no high crime or misdemeanor committed by the President. Facts, folks, facts. It's in the transcript, and if that's your only evidence, wow. I've said this in podcasts before, that this is the do-nothing party, the Democrats. I've said that they are so busy worrying about impeachment of the President of the United States since day one that they've done nothing. They've done nothing to address illegal immigration. They have done nothing to address bringing businesses to the United States and increasing our GDP. They have done nothing to deal with trades. They've done nothing to lower the cost of prescription drugs. They have done nothing to build up and secure the infrastructure of our roads and bridges. They've done nothing to build up our military and make our country secure and safe. Done nothing to address homelessness or the opioid epidemic, which everybody is screaming about. This is not only the do-nothing party, but it is also being known as the party of failure. They failed to address issues that are important to the citizens of the United States, to include gun control, violence in our streets, or even terrorism. They've done nothing and failed to address everything in that it pertains to us, the United States citizens. Guess what, folks? We're their employers.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
I, like 64% of the rest of the people of this country, I am sick and tired of hearing the word impeachment. It's time to change the subject matter. It's time to look for a better future in this country besides a failed do-nothing party. It's time for us, the citizens, to maybe think about cleaning house. How about that? Getting rid of the people that have done nothing and have failed at everything. Ladies and gentlemen, November is coming. And it's time, really time, for us to sit back, and I've said this many, many times, privately, personally, speaking with people, and even said it on this podcast. It's time for you folks, you, the American citizen, to stand up and say, enough is enough. November's coming. The last time there was an impeachment of a president of the United States, it was Bill Clinton. And before then, it was actually Andrew Johnson. They impeached the gentleman that took over after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, who was, both, by the way, were Democrats, in case you didn't know. But anyways, the last one that was impeached was Bill Clinton. And he was impeached for federal charges. Now, this is how ridiculous the Congress can be. They had actual evidence of him committing felonies, high crime. And he walked away. He didn't even get a slap on the hand. Nope, nothing. But you know what happened? And Democrats see Einstein's theory. You remember Albert Einstein, the guy who came up with the theory of relativity? He also came up with the theory of insanity, or definition of insanity, shall we say. If you do the same thing the same way and expect a different result, you're insane. So what they're doing is they're doing the same thing the same way. They're coming up with impeachment articles, and they're going after Donald Trump. Number one, they've only tried this 20 times so far this past 3 years. And I'm truly amazed that the man can actually get done as much as he's been doing with these people just trying to impeach him and get him out of office. And that's not how you change elections, folks. That's not how you change presidents. Because if you remove Donald Trump, you have Mike Pence. And trust me, Mike Pence is just as strict, just as tough as Donald Trump, except without the tweets. So you're not getting a better deal. And what, then you're going to attack Mike Pence? I don't think so. But anyways, digressing. So they tried to impeach Bill Clinton. And what happened? Well, that was the Republican Party that was trying to impeach Bill Clinton. And if history is our teacher, which it is, if you do not learn from history, then you are truly, truly destined to repeat it. That's right. You will follow through with the same thing that happened the last time. Go ahead, Democrats. Impeach the president. Get it out of your system. I think Walter's World on Fox, he said it best. Go ahead, just get it out of your system. Jesse Waters, thank you. But get it out of your system. I agree. Because you get it through the House. That's not a problem with a Democrat majority. Yes, everybody wants to impeach. And then when it gets to the Senate, then they're going to do a real investigation. They're not going to make up stories, Mr. Schiff. They're not going to just fall to the wayside by the House leader, AOC. Yes, Nancy, you have lost control. You are no longer Speaker of the House. That's really AOC now. And when November comes up, you will have instilled the American people so much that I'll bet I would almost put money on it that Donald Trump would win the state of California. I'm thinking, because everybody's sick of this mess, folks. We are sick of hearing about impeach. Don't you guys up there get it yet? You are you are the party that has cried wolf one too many times. Impeach, impeach, impeach. Find another word in the dictionary under the letter I to talk about. How about integrity? Because you don't seem to have any. Folks, Donald Trump, with this impeachment, it will do nothing more than solidify his reelection. And that is a fact. The Democrats are giving him the election. And I have to think this stuff through every once in a while. Why would anybody do that? They know what's going to happen. They know that it's going to take at least a year before we get through all of this. They're trying to tie up everything. And, of course, nothing's going to happen from about February of next year, 2020, until November, because everybody's going to be out campaigning. So you're not going to have the votes. You're not going to have the time to sit there and do this because time is of the essence. You think you're going to tie up the president with impeachment proceedings when literally it's not going to happen because there's not going to be anybody in the Senate or Congress. 33 senators are up for re-election. They're not going to be sitting around in committees. No, they got to get out there and get reelected. The only thing you're doing is handing this election, Democrats. You're handing it right to Donald J. Trump, and we thank you for that. I think the true thing is they know that. The honest statement about this is that The Democrats know if you impeach Donald J. Trump, get the articles through the House, which you might not still. Oh, we have our 218. You might not, because there's some pretty interesting swing areas and swing states that went for Donald J. Trump, that some of these Democrats won those districts, and they might not. So they're going to have to go over, and they're going to have to explain to their Republican base, yes, it's a Republican base there, that, yeah, we're going to impeach Trump just because we have nothing else to do. They could lose their elections. They will lose their elections if they impeach. But why are they doing this? Well, after looking over everything and kind of looking at it, I'm sitting here saying, well, there's only one reason why they're impeaching. They know they don't have a presidential candidate that's worth a darn. And the real leadership, the DNC, knows that if you get anybody up there that's speaking these crazy extreme left positions of free health care and free, the TurboTax commercial, then you know you're going to lose the election. So they're just trying to give it to Donald Trump better, much easier, so that, well, you know what? They don't have egg on their face any more than it is. That's the only other reason why I can think of this. Can't think of it any other reason why. They're purposely throwing this election because they don't have a candidate that is presidentially ready. That's my take. It's just a personal opinion. And, sometimes, majority of the time, anytime I've ever said anything about politics, I'm pretty correct because, I've proved it time and time again, and I don't mind being wrong. But I just don't see that. This time, this election, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the Democrats should just actually pack up the bags, get off the circus trail, fold up their little circus tents, and go home. Because when you start the impeachment process, which they haven't done yet, they're just saying we're doing an inquiry, which is a saving grace for them. And when they find out that there's really no support for this, they may pull back and say, well, we've done the inquiry and we found that there was no high crime or misdemeanor, so we're going to move on with life. But they're going to just tie up the news media just to keep their face in the, and all they're doing is throwing money and and publicity to Donald J. Trump. So, folks, it's time for us citizens definitely start cleaning the house. Get rid of these people that are up there for nothing more than political gain. Adam Schiff, Nadler, Pelosi, who's that lady out of California screaming all the time about Impeach 45? What's her name? I can't even remember them because there's so many of them. The only people that are really screaming this are the hardcore Democrats. And don't get me wrong, there's some up there that want to work with the president, but their leadership, AOC, Talib or whatever, all of those guys, they need to go. They're doing nothing more than stopping the forward progression of this country into a better lifestyle for our children and our grandchildren. It's not about us. And I'm up there. I'm in the Middle Ages. That's right. I've been considered a senior citizen. I get the AARP stuff. Oh, that broke my heart that day, but that's a story for another day. It's time, folks, for you to wake up. It's time for you to actually do the research. Find out what these idiots have been voting on or voting against. Find out if these people are actually working for you or spending all their time to just fight against a president. That's true. That's what you need to do. While you're out there on Facebook, don't take all the Facebook stuff for truth, because it's not. There are some stories out there that are fake, a lot of them. Do your own investigation. Look into this stuff. Find out what's going on and find out what's important to you and your neighbors and your communities and your districts, and vote for the guy that's going to produce. And everybody up there has a history. Now, is that person producing? Is that person voting for things that are important to you? Down on the border, it's very important that we close and secure our border and put the wall down there. Very important. Why? Because these people are tired of having illegal immigrants come over the border and walk through their pastures and interrupt their cattle grazing or destroy their crops or just walk up to their houses. They're tired of it, folks. So that's important there. In Chicago, it might be opioid abuse and guns and danger and violence. In New York, it's high taxes. And down here in Florida, it's imports and tourism. These are important things to our communities. So look for the representative that supports your community and vote for that person. And make sure that person is actually trying to work with everybody instead of just walking around saying impeach. Because I'll tell you, for anybody that just says the word impeach, for my money, you're not getting my vote. Forget it. It's time, folks. It's time for us citizens of America to start cleaning house. And you know what? It's also time for us to start using a little common sense.